We got another state that's taking the right path in legalizing recreational cannabis use for adults, as well as expunging records of people convicted for cannabis use in the past. Um, it's about time more states actually made this legal. To to not do so is actually like honestly the dumbest of ideas because one, you bring in a lot of, tax money for the state. Two, you relieve pressure off the cops for having to, arrest people for cannabis, which is, really idiotic. It's why arrest people for cannabis? I mean, we don't arrest people for, just buying alcohol. Um, and three, it should be a person's, personal right to be able to consume whatever they want, even if it may be detrimental to their health. We don't ban people from smoking tobacco or buying tobacco, even though tobacco is detrimental to people's health.
Okay, our next story has really been years in the making, and recreational marijuana is now one step closer to becoming legal in Minnesota.
The state Senate debating for hours today, and in the last hour, the vote came through. Fox 9's Paul Bloom is live at the Capitol for us. And Paul, there's still another step before it will make it to the governor's desk.
Absolutely, Mary. Tim, good evening to both of you. Certainly a historic day, a historic moment in this chamber behind me late this afternoon with the vote passing adult use recreational marijuana one step closer to becoming legal in the state of Minnesota. As you mentioned, more work needs to be done. The measure that came out of the state Senate today differs slightly, only slightly, from legislation passed out of the House.
Though, why is it that the government needed to pass a constitutional amendment to legalize cannabis? I mean, not cannabis, but alcohol. And it's not the same with cannabis or other drugs. Um, though, if you do look at history and the reason why cannabis was made illegal, because before the war on drugs, cannabis was used as medicine, hemp was used as food and fiber. Uh, once Mexicans started immigrating into the United States, there was a bunch of racist people that didn't like that, so they wanted to associate uh, black people and Mexicans with cannabis and other drugs and make it illegal so that these people could be arrested. You couldn't make being black illegal, but you could make the use of drugs illegal and arrest these people for it.
House earlier this week, so now the two measures have to be ironed out in what's known as conference committee here at the Capitol. But Minnesota very much now on the road to legalizing marijuana in this state very soon.
34 ayes and 33 noes. The bill is passed and its title agreed to.
And there it is, the DFL-sponsored measure passing in the Senate by a single vote. This was straight down party lines. The Democrats, the voters sent them here with the slimmest of margins. The bill's chief author, Senator Lindsey Port, you see her in the video, donning green. In fact, green, the color of the day in the chamber's supporters rallied to get this measure one step closer to Governor Walz's desk, who has insisted he will sign it just as soon as it arrives. Quite a floor debate unfolding over several hours Friday. The GOP raising concerns, as they often do, about public safety, licensing, health worries, arguing pot can be a gateway drug to more serious addictions. The Democrats countering that Minnesota ready for this, and the proof is to look at the many other states that have already legalized recreational marijuana for those over the age of 21.
Which is adults use it, kids use it less because it's harder for them to get, it's safer, traffic doesn't change, crime doesn't change, jobs are created.
I mean, Portugal has legalized all drugs across the board for like over, 20 years now, and their nation is not in ruins. Amsterdam has legalized drugs, and their nation is not in ruins. And look at all the states with legalized cannabis. The states aren't in ruins. they've actually done better. Decreased use of drugs amongst teens and stuff has gone down, especially in like Portugal. And instead of, putting people in jail for drug use, they just give them counseling, and they see the use of drugs as, an individual freedom and right, and not some kind of like moral failing, which right-wing Christians love to claim, which is why people, use drugs because they're morally evil or something.
That's the reality that we're about to enter into. But we are also going to fix the immense harm that the war on drugs has perpetuated, particularly against black men.
This is not a Cheech and Chong joke. This is real. And there are going to be people in this state, Mr. President, constituents of ours, who will be dead because of this bill passing.
Nobody's going to die because people are going to use cannabis, though people can die from cannabis being illegal, from either cops killing people or people not being able to get cannabis for medication, as it's been shown to be very good for like life-saving treatments. It's good for helping people getting off of opioids and other addictive substances. Um, Legalizing cannabis is life-saving. Having it illegal is a killer.
Now, Senator Port spoke to the media after the historic vote. She is confident those minor differences with the DFL House legislation can be quickly ironed out in conference committee. That could happen as soon as next week. Issues there relate to the exact amount of weight of marijuana someone can possess at home, and then how much the pot will be taxed in Minnesota. This late today from Governor Walz to show you how close we are now for this to become legal in Minnesota. Quote, legalizing adult use cannabis and expunging cannabis convictions is good for our economy and the right move for Minnesota. When the bill reaches my desk, I'll be proud to sign it into law. Once he does, and all belief is that we are on the path to that very moment. August 1st would be the legalization in the state of Minnesota. We're live inside the Capitol for you tonight. Paul Bloom.
If Republicans were actually cared about like the budget and make it money for their states and the government, they would also legalize cannabis, as it's been shown to be a money maker. They would want to use hemp for various products because that has been shown to be a money maker as well. But right-wing Republicans, they don't care actually about like the budget or making money. All they care about is arresting as many black and brown people as they can in order to fill up the private prisons and make money that way.